Hey little buddy, welcome to slapinthefaith.com. If you're new to the site, what we do here is we encourage viewers and readers to engage with the big guy, to wake up their spiritual lives by providing tools and techniques for creative thinking and creative problem solving in the spiritual realm. In other words, to help people get connected to the big guy, connected to God. So today I just wanted to talk briefly about posture and intensity. Posture and intensity. So some of us, when we go to gathered worship, when we're with other spiritually minded people in worship, we might be singing songs, and it might look something like this, where we're just standing and maybe, well, it's time to sing songs, but I notice a lot of times that people aren't even moving their lips. So they may be singing in their heart, which is great, maybe singing in their mind, which is great, but you know, intensity to really join in, and the good book says that the big guy inhabits the praises of his people. So when you're being intense and really singing out, there's a visceral connection that can occur. And so if we're passive and not really engaged in worship, then we're probably not going to be as stirred in our affections for Christ as we would if we were really engaged and really putting it out there. And so right along with that is our body posture. Not just smiling and being engaged in worshiping the big guy, but also like, what do you do with your arms, okay? One thing you can do is lift them up. Yeah. Now it's funny that in the sports realm and in the concert realm, you know, people get their phones out and they raise their hands, they do this thing. In the sports realm, they're shouting and yelling and raising their hands. But when it comes to worshiping the one and only true God who loves you like crazy, we tend to be very reserved. So I just want to encourage you, next time you're in gathered worship or by yourself in worship, just to engage God with your body. So just raise your hands, you know, raise them up high and just say, I love you, God. Thanks for loving me. I love you too. And just worship Him. Or maybe get down on your face, or maybe you're very extroverted and very engaged physically in worship, and maybe you need to just try sitting there very quietly and engage Him in a different way. So posture and intensity can be an important way to wake up your spiritual life. Waking up your spiritual life. In terms of intensity, I love there's a verse. I love this verse in Proverbs 2. It talks about calling out for insight and crying aloud for understanding. Okay, so intensity-wise, I read that one night, and I was in my little portable office building outside the house, and I was convicted to really do that. And so I didn't want to bother the neighbors. It was kind of late, so I jumped in my car, jumped on the interstate a couple blocks from my house, and I said, God, give me insight! God, give me understanding! And I just called aloud. I cried out just like the word says, and it was such a blessing. I sensed this connectivity with God, and that I was doing what He said to do. And I prayed through praying that He would indeed just do just that He would fill me with insight, that He would fill me with wisdom, that He would fill me with understanding. And you know, through the years, I do feel like I've grown and matured in my walk with Him, and that He has granted me wisdom, He has granted me insight, He has granted me understanding, and I feel that by emoting that and by actually doing what the Word says and calling aloud and in crying out, it gives Him an opportunity to do what He says He'll do, you know, that He will deliver those things. So posture and intensity. We put it to work in other ways when we go to a concert, when we go to a sporting activity, but how about in our worship? One way to wake up your spiritual life. Thanks for joining today. See you next time.